We will be live in less than 30 seconds. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this Friday. My name is Wayne from Customthings. I am a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. So the xTool Squad is a global network of experience makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the xTool products that we own. The demos are a mix of online and in-person. It differs by host. We offer material testing and skill training. Material testing involves testing customer supplied samples under a number of different parameters to get you perfect results. And skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member. We will help you skip any learning curve with help from initial setup and maintenance to helping you perfect your projects. I highly recommend you check out the xTool Squad page. If I show you how to do that now, it would help if I turn my light back on. Go. There we go. If I just get rid of my face for the moment. So the xTool Squad can be found up here, local service, and then product demo, material testing, or machine training. And then there also is a commissioning service. So that's not something I've mentioned before, but there's a commissioning service available. And this is for the apparel printer and the metal fab in particular. But let's just say you wanted to book a demo. Click on product demo. All products are free in terms of demo. So online or in person, it costs you nothing. xTool pay the host. That's what the host gets out of it. They get a fixed fee for their time, usually an hour slot. But if you want a print sample of the DTF printer, the apparel printer, there is a cost to that. So if you just want to see what the actual print looks like, there is a small cost for that. But you just look what you want. So let's just say we're looking in London. And we're looking for in-person, online, nothing's changed. If we click on Paul Steed, it comes up straight away. I can click continue. These are the machines that Paul has, the F2 Ultra UV, F2 Ultra, P2S. And you simply just hit continue. Book a time. So we can select different times. So we can see there that day on the 28th, that is booked. Let's just say I click on here, I click continue. All you have to enter is your name, email, phone number, what machine you want, and that's it. The booking is confirmed, so no payment details are taken from you at any point for a product demo. And with that being said, if I jump over back to the xTool Squad, if you want to find out more information, you can go to where I just showed you on the website. Alternatively, you can enter the website in yourself, and that's support.xtool.com/xtool-squad. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code above or go to demo.ascendcd.com, and that will take you to my specific profile. But by all means, choose a host that is closer to you or has the machines that you want to demo. I have a rough idea of what I'll be going over today. Again, this isn't set in stone. We have done customized cards Tuesday. Yesterday we did keychain. Today we can do pretty much anything, a mixture of both. I'm not really stuck to what materials we use, so if anyone has any ideas, if I have the material here in the office, I'll give it a go. So this is just a rough outline. I like to go over the products that I'm demoing. So it's the xTool F2. And then I'll also be showing you the xTool F2 Ultra UV. I'll then go over some laser safety training. We'll then quickly jump into the xTool Creative Studio software. So I'm going to show you specifically Customthings. I'll be using their online version. And I might even show you the tablet. There's a tablet that you can pair up with Customthings. If you have a retail store and want to take orders in store from customers, you're able to do that. So I'll quickly show you the tablet as well. And then again, some of the materials that we'll be going over: customized cards, keychains. I think what I'm going to start off with today is some AirPods. My wife asked me to engrave her AirPods 3 Pro. So I'll do a test engrave on one of the old pair of AirPods that I have. I'll then show you how to engrave. I've added the settings also to Customthings, so I'll show you how I come up with them. And it's a pretty straightforward process. I'll be monitoring the chat periodically, so if anyone has any questions, please reach out. If you're watching this after it's aired, my contact details are on the left. Again, please feel free to reach out. I'm available on WhatsApp Business as well as iMessage and normal text, obviously. It's my business number, so if it's late at night, I won't answer, obviously. But please do reach out to me if you have any questions. So we'll go over to the F2 first. So the F2, or the smaller laser, is a dual laser system. It is a 5-watt infrared laser, or has a 5-watt infrared laser, should I say, and it also has a 15-watt diode laser. Between the two different types of laser, you can engrave well over 300 plus materials. It's capable of speeds of up to 6,000 millimeters a second. And this is because it is a galvo laser. So it has a mirror in the top of the laser that bounces the laser around the bed. And it's able to achieve these very fast speeds. So if you've not brought a laser before, this is your first time watching. A normal gantry-based laser, you're probably looking at a maximum speed of 600 millimeters a second. Might be a little bit more, but that's pretty much it, because it has to physically move the laser head around. This one, like I said, it's a galvo laser. It uses a mirror to bounce the laser around the bed, so it's able to engrave really, really quick. It has a 50 megapixel camera, and that allows a live snapshot or a photo of what's in the workspace. So it's not a real-time camera. It takes a snapshot of what's in the workspace, and you can put what you want to engrave over that picture. And it's pretty accurate. So it has an alignment accuracy when it's fully focused of up to 0.1 millimeters. And that is about the thickness of a standard 80 GSM piece of copy paper. So it's fairly accurate. And when you use the framing, you'll see just how accurate it is. The unit comes pre-assembled and is ready to use once unboxed. Then you do a quick calibration. You also have to do the laser safety training. If you've already done it, you can skip that. And then in terms of the work area, 11.5 by 11.5 centimeters. You can expand that again with the slide extension, 40 centimeters. If you want to find out more information about this, you can scan the QR code below. And again, this is the xTool F2. So if I was to just quickly show you what it looks like physically. So what I'll do is, I think I will turn the lights on over here. So this is the xTool F2. In terms of, this is work area. This is a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter cork coaster. As you can see, you got a little bit of ply in there, this bed. This is the protective guard. So when this is fully down, you're fully protected from the light. If you do operate it with it up, which you can do, you can override it. And there are reasons why you'd want to do that. The rotary tool, if you're engraving a tumbler, or if you've got the slide extension, you'll need to override that. If you do, you'll need a pair of safety glasses. But by default, you can't operate this machine with the guard up. You have an emergency stop here. If you push that in, it will cut power to the machine. And then here you have framing button, which I've covered previously. But for the most part, what you'll be using is this dial here. And this is also a button. So if you press this in, it will start the machine once you send a job to it. In terms of this dial, if I was to take this machine out of focus and zoom in just there, you should see two dots, a red dot on the right and a blue dot on the left. What you want to do is you use this dial to manually focus the material when the two dots become one, when they intersect. That laser now is in focus with this material, so it will engrave. It will give you that most optimum cut or engrave. You can do this automatically through the software. And it's that simple. It comes with an L bracket. You can take this base plate out here, so you can engrave directly to surfaces. And then we'll move on to the F2 Ultra UV. So the F2 Ultra UV is a 5-watt ultraviolet or UV laser. It's capable of engraving nearly all types of material. Again, there's certain materials that you still wouldn't want to engrave, but for the most part, this type of laser, the UV, is very delicate. It's very gentle on a lot of the materials that I've used it on. So I've used this laser specifically on plastic. So this again is a ring plug, so it's not anything pre-made in the sense of I ordered it this way. It literally is a ring plug for a device I had here in the office. And as you can see there, it is a very, very high quality image. Honestly, it's seeing it is believing. So that's plastic. Then I've engraved on this fake leather. So this is a ring bearer box that my dog used at our wedding recently. And there's no char marks whatsoever. With the camera, I was able to engrave around this. And the level of detail, and again, no burning. Sometimes you can get a lot of detail, but you get slight burning, and it lessens the premium feel of the end product. So this is a laser that I didn't think I would need, but now that I have it, I wouldn't go without it. And it's able to do this because the wavelength that it operates on, it absorbs, materials absorb the energy slightly differently. So it has a high photon energy, and it's able to break down the molecular bonds of the material, and it does so with minimal heat. So this is sometimes known as cold processing. It's sometimes referred to as a cold processing laser. And it's not to say that it doesn't produce heat, because it does. It just produces minimal heat compared to a diode, infrared, or a CO2 laser, for example. It's capable of speeds of up to 15,000 millimeters a second. And this machine in particular has a 48 megapixel camera. And it has an alignment accuracy of up to 0.2 millimeters when fully focused properly. And again, this machine is big. So it's much bigger than the F2. So in terms of the work area, you're looking at 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So you can fit in 4 coasters or 4 slate coasters. So 10 centimeter coasters. You can do 4 of them in one go. You can expand that, the work area. So you're still stuck with the 20 centimeters of height, but you can expand it up to 50 centimeters with the conveyor belt. Again, this machine comes pre-assembled, very, very well packaged because of the weight. It's 22.5 kilograms, I believe. I believe the small one's about 5, just shy of 5, 4.6 kilograms. So this one's fairly heavy. It comes with a metal bracket that's screwed in. It comes with a screwdriver to unscrew it. It's very, very simple. So there's no assembly. It's more just taking it out the box, 2-man job or 2-person job even. And this machine is the master of glass. So you're able to engrave directly to glass, and you might say that's nothing new. I can engrave on glass with my diode laser if I spray it black. I can engrave on it with my CO2 laser directly. The way that this engraves is slightly different than the diode if you spray it or the CO2. So when you use a CO2 laser, or if you use a diode laser and you've used black ink or black spray paint to make the glass absorb the energy from the laser, what it does is it causes microfractures in the glass, which compromises its integrity. The way the UV laser engraves is different. It literally just engraves the glass. It doesn't cause microfractures. And that's not to say you can't break glass with the UV laser, because you can. But it engraves in a very different way. And you're able to get contrasting detail that you wouldn't typically be able to get. So this is going to be a bad example, as this is a very well-used sweet jar that I used at my wedding. So I didn't actually engrave this glass here. So this is a similar jar, but I did engrave the top. So you can see here I engraved the top. But I don't know how well you can see it, but I engraved us. So this picture here is engraved on here. And it's something that you can better see in person with the details. And I could have made it bigger. For time purposes, I engraved a ton of glass jars for the wedding as little wedding favors. And it's, like I say, it's the master of glass. It was able to do that effortlessly using the rotary attachment to spin it round. If you want to find out more information about this laser in particular, you can scan the QR code below. And again, this is the xTool F2 Ultra UV. So if I switch over to the other side of the office, you can see this is a fairly big machine. And again, this is a normal coaster, and you can quite easily fit 4 in one go, quite easily. So it does have, it's bigger than the actual work area, or I shouldn't say the work area, the actual area is bigger than 20 centimeters, but the work area is 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So not all of this area that you're seeing is workable. Right, put that back in there. Hopefully you can see the lasers, but we'll see that after. So on the side of the machine, you have an emergency stop. Again, press that if you need to make the machine stop for whatever reason, if it's creating a fire or doing something that looks wrong. This is not an off button, so please don't use it as such. You've got the power button here, and you've got some connectivity here. This is a little bit different as it has a touchscreen pad that hooks up to it. So I can raise or lower the bed by pressing up or down. You can frame here, and this is the go button, the start button. When you send a job to the machine, it pops up on here. It's actually quite nice. We didn't talk about hose pipe, but in terms of the F2, smaller one, I have that venting to an air purifier underneath the desk. And this one I have venting outside. You can vent this to the AP2. So that's a bigger unit. This is a bigger size hose. So this will not fit with the small air purifier, and it won't be able to keep up with the output either. So if you want to use any of the ultras inside, you'll need the AP2. I'll zoom in on here, and we'll see if you can just see the 2 dots. There we go. So you should be able to see 2 dots. And again, it's a very similar thing. I'm just going to use this touchpad and focus the material. That's it. It's as simple as that. Anyone has any questions about that, please do let me know. What we'll do now is we'll jump straight over to some safety. So in terms of laser safety, never leave the machine unattended. Flat stable surface. Don't modify the machine. and ventilation. So we talked briefly just about ventilation now. When you engrave, it produces fumes. You don't want to breathe those fumes in. So you have to either vent them into a device that can make that safe, or vent it outside. So if you can't vent it outside, you'll need the air purifier or the AP2. So it's the air purifier 2. It's a bigger unit. They also have a max version. If you have a metal fab or P3, xTool P3, so that's their big CO2 laser, and it is a big boy. There's also some materials that you should never engrave. PVC or vinyl, they produce a very toxic gas for your lungs. They'll also damage your machine, so don't do it. If in doubt, don't engrave the material. It's one of the reasons why if I'm out, I won't engrave. So if I'm at a craft fair and someone says, can you engrave my wallet? I won't, because I don't know what that wallet is made of. So you could go, oh, it's PU leather or it's real leather. So let's just say if it's real leather, how was it tanned? Was it did they use vegetable oil to tan it? Or was it tanned in some chemicals? And if it's natural leather that was tanned in chemicals, it's more than likely going to produce very dangerous gas. I don't know what it is. And again, if it's PU leather, it could have PVC in it. And we don't engrave that. So I only engrave materials that I know what they're made of for that reason. And then safety glasses. I have a couple pairs of safety glasses just to hand here. So this is a third-party pair. This is xTool's pair, which I'll show you on their website. They're very comparable in price. I think third-party pair are a little bit more expensive, actually. These protect me against all the lasers that I'm using here in the office. So it protects me against the spectrum of light that diode is on, the infrared spectrum, as well as the UV spectrum. The third-party pair do not protect me against the UV spectrum at all. So always check if you're using safety glasses. They're not normal safety glasses. Always check that they give you adequate protection. And then in terms of the what xTool have, so these are the safety glasses, so £45. If I click on them, just scroll down, you can see here compatible with, so f2 ultra UV, S1, not that you can use the S1 with the lid up, but you're protected all round. And if you want the specs, it protects you from light on these wavelengths, and then these again. So this covers the diode. So this covers here the infrared and the, or this here, should I say, covers the infrared and the UV. So I think the UV is 355 nanometers. You can see it covers you there. If in doubt, check. They're not, again, not normal safety glasses. They're not trying to protect your eyes from physical objects. They're protecting your eyes from certain wavelengths of light. This is the air purifier. So this is the small one that I have the F2 hooked up to. It's small in size and connects with the small hose. And I should say the hose that comes with both machines, so the F2 and the F2 Ultra UV, is about 1.2 meters in length. So it's not, it might seem long, but it's not that long. The benefit of having the air purifier, the AP2, is when you hook it up, it'll only turn this device on when the machine is in use. So if we look up the AP2, there we have it. So this is the AP2, and then you have the Max, which is a bit more. Well, I say a bit more, double, over double. But that's for the metal fab and the P3. And it's capable of keeping up with the fumes that you're creating. xTool have you covered. And then in terms of rotary devices, you have two options. I have both of these. So you got the RA2 and the RA3. And the difference is the RA3 is magnetic. So you're able to switch between the different chucks, so like here, but without using any tools. If you're only going to engrave tumblers, save yourself some money and by all means get the RA2. But I find myself solely using the RA3 just because it's so much easier to switch between the different chucks. I can adjust things without having to use an Allen key or Allen wrench. So do what you think is best in that regard. And this is the slide extension. So this is what will expand your work area on the F2. That's how you get the extra width, so up to 40 centimeters or 400 millimeters. And it just slides over, connects up with the included cable, and you're ready to go. And then you have the conveyor belt. So if I just type that in here, scroll down. It's always cheaper if you buy these things as part of a bundle. And this is what will give you the extra width on the Ultra, so up to 50 centimeters. And this works differently than the slide extension. So this is more for batch producing. So it's very much like a conveyor belt that you would find at Sainsbury's or Tesco, say, for example. You can drop on loads of a similar product, maybe different in color, and you can then use the AI features to batch engrave. Or maybe you might be doing a larger piece of material, and it's just that simple. If anyone has any questions about that, please reach out. I should note that you're able to get an extra discount. So if there's a discount or promo running at the moment, you're able to get an extra discount if you reach out. I can do what's called a host assist order. So that will apply an additional discount to whatever promo is running. If you find better pricing from a third-party distributor, reach out to us. We can at least match it or give you a slight discount off even their price. This is the direct from the manufacturer price. So this is, we should always be able to beat that price. And it's not an eBay price. So if you find something on eBay, that doesn't count. It has to be a third-party distributor. So it's not someone, a normal person that's reselling their product, even if it's new. But again, please reach out and I'm sure we can work something out. So if I jump over to xTool Creative Studio, so I just have this open. So we jump over to the xTool Academy. xTool have some official resources. This is new this year. Very, very handy. Something I constantly get asked if there's any official resources, not just paper documentation, but video resources. A lot of people are visual learners. xTool have visual stuff now. So they have the videos, proper videos that are accredited by xTool or have been approved by xTool. So xTool have involved a lot of creators, educators and makers. So some of the xTool squad members have helped make some videos. And these are approved and endorsed by xTool and can be found in the xTool Academy. So you have help with getting set up, 5 units, 36 minutes. So it tells you how long. It's very much looks like a course, like a proper course. That's what feel that you get from it. But I recommend going down to general and doing this laser safety training. You have to do it regardless. And at the end of it, you get a tip certificate, 2 units, 20 minutes. Be the best 20 minutes you spend of your life. If you're going to be using a laser, you only get 1 pair of eyes. Like I said, you don't want to be starting fires. This is best practices. This also comes in handy in real life. So in the real world, if you go to a craft event, maybe an indoor one, or even an outdoor one, they might ask you, or they should realistically ask you for risk assessments. So I've been asked for these before. This forms a part of my risk assessment. And I have the certificate to show that I'm a laser safety officer. So this does have real world value. You can print it off as many times as you want, and frame it if you wish. So you only get one pair of eyes, but it's also about protecting others. So for example, here in the office, I have the door locked, so no one can just walk in while the laser's in operation, as they don't know if I've got the laser guard open or closed. So I have the door locked. I have the blinds down. So my pet dog, he likes to hold up outside the double doors and look in. I can't get him to wear safety glasses. He's an animal. So I'm protecting my dog's eyes, and also anybody else that decides to walk down the bottom of the garden and look in. I'm protecting them as well. So it's worth doing. And again, you have to do it regardless. So this is the xTool Creative Studio software. It's free to download. If you go to xTool's website, software xTool Studio, you can hit this download button, take it to the bottom of the page. It knows I'm running Apple Silicon. I can download it straight away. Works for Windows and old style Intel Macs. I have this installed on a Windows 11 laptop, Windows 10 PC. So I know Windows 10 is not officially supported unless you've paid for the additional support, but it still works on Windows 10. I do have a machine with that on. So if we just quickly cover xTool Creative Studio. So at the moment, when you click on a new one, so the little plus sign here, or new project, you are opened with a new project. It automatically connects to the last laser you have connected. So here you can see I have the UV, the S1, the F2. You can switch between lasers. So it's just switch between that laser. Shows you a live snapshot of, or a snapshot, so a picture of what was in the work area. You can take a new one by hitting this. So if I just quickly take that out and put it upside down and take a new snapshot, you can see that it's updated. So if I was to show you the engraver as well, so this is the engraver, and again, if I take this out and I've put this in here, it's not updated here on the software because it's just a snapshot. So it's not a live camera, it's just a snapshot of what was in there. So if I refresh the background, boom, it's done. So if I show you the engraver camera full screen, you can see the two dots. They're not focused. So to focus it, you can manually do it like I've shown you. Either use the dial or the up and down on the F2 Ultra UV, or you can just hit this auto measure. And it will automatically find the appropriate distance to go from the material. So this is the preferred way to do it. This works more often than not. The only time that it generally fails is on very reflective material. So if I'm engraving stainless steel that's mirrored, I always dial that in manually. I always check with the material anyway. If it's the first time I'm using the material, I always check. You do get variations in material. So for example, slate coasters, they do vary in height, in width, or depth even. So it's always worth checking. If I now switch to the Ultra UV, again, it's very much the same process. If we switch, there we go. So that is the F2 Ultra UV, and I've got the cutting plate in. So that's just a plate that sits on top of the base. So I was doing cardstock, testing out cardstock templates. So that's why I have that in there. But this is just some AirPods. This is my old AirPods that I have in. My wife has asked me to engrave her AirPods with a very specific image. So if I close out of this, close out this too, that's just something I was testing. Okay, here. So this is an image that I turned into effectively a line drawing. So this was a real image. I've used this multiple times. And if I was to drag the actual picture I used onto the screen, you can see. So this was the actual picture. So I used AI Make, and I was able to engrave, turn that image. So if I click on this, you can see I used the image here, and it output this. So this is very much laser ready. So you might be saying, I can use ChatGPT or another AI platform to make an image, and you're absolutely right, you can. xTool have created a piece of software that integrates the AI aspect, so it's an all-in-one solution. There is a cost to it. So if I was to just show you here, there's a cost. So if I go here, buy credits, it's not expensive. 500 credits for $5, 1,000 for 10, 2,000 credits for $20. It costs six credits per generation. And it just works. It's laser ready. So you might have a different AI platform generate you an image, but you still have to edit it. You still might have to do something with it. For me, for the equivalent of generating one image, it's 6 cents. So that's less than 5p. It's worth that time to me to get it all done in here and not move to a different piece of software, upload the image, wait for it to work, download it, import it. Time is money. I use this. It's nice and simple. It comes out with the effects that I want, the look, the way that it looks. If I was to quickly show you, so we're going to start a new one. Or crafting ideas. What do we want? Let's just say you want to engrave. I want a line drawing or a pet engraving image. Never tried that. Let's give that a try. So if I get the same image, but I'll do a different one of my dog. So I'm doing this one of my dog. So I just uploaded that here. So I've not had to enter anything in the prompts. So that's the first thing you should know or should notice. Let me just turn on the air conditioner. It's getting hot in here. So xTool have come up with lots of presets. So you can click on the effects that you want. So click on the image and you're able to adjust the prompt that way. You can still type in things if you want. But you can see here, it's done that automatically. Now, in terms of the aspect ratio, I will change that. And I'll have it like a 9:16 because that's pretty much what that is there. And yep, and I hit go. So that will work. So you can see here 3,744 credits. So I imagine I'd have 3,632 because it's going to use 6 credits. It can take up to 1.5 minutes. Sometimes it can take longer. It depends on the load. So it depends on how many people are accessing the resources. And it will only take the credits if it's able to generate the image. If it's unable to generate the image, it won't cost you anything. If you don't like the image, you can go up to here, hit dislike, as long as you've not imported it. You're able to get money back. So here you can see that it's deducted those 6 credits now. If I go up here and hit dislike, it'll ask you for a reason. So this actually helps fix any errors. It helps flag things that aren't working correctly. So I do this if I get a result that is completely opposite to what I asked. This is an AI platform, so you only have so much control. Obviously, if you're an artist, you're going to be spending the time to do this. If you're charging for that, great. But you can see here that if I scale to fit this, perfect. And I can easily get rid of the white by hitting that. White doesn't engrave. If I hit cancel and I go, okay, do you know what? I want to use the AI cut. Again, this will cost 6 credits to do this, but it can take out all the white. So you can see how it just did that for me. But again, it doesn't engrave white. But you might want the white taken out if you invert the image. So by that, I mean, if I go up to here, adjustments, and invert the image, it will now engrave that black that was once white, the background. The reason why you might want to invert is if you're engraving on black, you typically invert it and you get amazing results. So when I've engraved black business cards images, I always invert the image. Same with if I'm engraving photos on slate. So there are reasons why you would want it out. But if I'm just engraving this on some AirPods, it's white. It doesn't engrave white. I will just leave it. But I will crop it. So I would crop it just like that. The software is very, very easy to use. I do skill training often enough, and people are genuinely surprised at how easy it is, especially if you're coming from a different ecosystem. So if you've got a cricket machine, say, you're mostly there. You just have to learn where the different things are, but it very much operates in the same way in terms of the software. So xTool have done an amazing job. They've redesigned the interface at least twice from the time that I've been using it. I used to use Lightburn and Lightburn solely. I switched over 2 years ago as I was getting better results in a shorter amount of time with xTool software. And at that point, I got rid of my third-party lasers and moved solely to using xTool lasers because they just work. And the software is free, so I don't have to pay a yearly license fee to get the latest upgrades. And Lightburn is a brilliant piece of software, but it's so much more complex than this here. So I'm not trying to put a dampener on those that use Lightburn. It's used in industrial machines, and it's a great piece of software, but xTool have just mastered at the ease of use. So for a new user, I would highly recommend xTool for that reason, because the software is half the battle. I get told constantly that I could get a laser here, I could get this laser, I could get that laser, I can buy 2 lasers for the price of this laser. Why should I do that? And my answer is always the software, the support. So you do get support from xTool. If you buy this machine here in the UK, you get a 2-year warranty. If there's an issue with it, you're okay, as long as you're not physically damaged or dropped the machine. If it's just stopped working, and things like that do happen, you're covered. And then the software is what makes the difference, in my opinion. Everything that xTool's been achieving, I've been trying to achieve over the last 2 years, they've hit the nail on the head. So they've created a whole ecosystem. So now you have a space where you're able to get projects. So Atom, ATOMM, and it's integrated into this under projects. So I could look for a project that I'm looking for, and I could go, do you know what? I want a free project. I want something for a wedding. What am I looking for? I want something like this. And here you can see the machine that it was on. And it's not to say this might have been done on a different machine, but you can adapt the settings to your machine. And I can quite easily just import this straight away. So xTool have mastered creating a whole ecosystem, not just a piece of software where you can make your dreams come true, get your creative genius out. They've also made it so you can easily share your projects, or maybe you're a newbie, download projects. So you can hit the ground running. They've incorporated that AI aspect like I just showed you. And you can enter, you don't have to upload a picture. You can say, generate me an image of a lion. So for example, if I go over here, if I go back, go to images, I had it generate me a picture of a lion scale to fit. So it's a one-stop shop. And now xTool have introduced the custom things. And this is what ties it all together, how can you get the projects that you're making out there so people can buy them? And xTool have done a fantastic job at this. So if I go to my products, at the moment I've only got 2 products. If I was to switch over to here and go to here, this is my store. I can send this link easily. I can create a QR code. I can do offline and online orders. So if you're at a craft fair, you can have a QR code. As long as you've got internet access, you're able to download and import the orders directly into the xTool Creative Studio. I do not know of another platform, another brand that you're able to do this so effortlessly. I've done this at the NEC, so I've seen this firsthand. So when I was at the NEC for xTool, they're able to place orders on the tablet that I've got. So I was allowed to bring that back and do videos with it. I asked them if I could lend it, and they was happy to do that. You can download the app on a normal tablet. So it's an Android and an iPad based app. The reason why you might want the Android based tablet they have is they're able to get the updates on there quicker. So on the iPad, it's a couple versions behind, and that's the latest version of the software they have on the App Store. That's not xTool's fault. All apps go through a approval process, and it can take a while for apps to be approved on Apple's store. That's all. But I highly recommend, if you're looking at getting kiosks, get xTool's kiosk. It's all locked down automatically. If I was to just quickly show you their kiosk, so you simply just turn it on, and it will power up. So this is their xTool Retail Studio. And again, you can download this app. It doesn't work on your iPhone, but if you have a customer, they can scan the QR code. They can go to the web-based version, so they're able to place orders using their phone. And it's honestly quite revolutionary, if you ask me. So if I was to scroll down here, for example, I added AirPods. Hit customize. You got a graphic of what the AirPods look like. You can upload pictures. Stickers is just images that predefined images will let the customer use. So you could have that, scale it down. So you've got all different options that you can do. And when you hit this, place the order, it will be sent in your shop. So this is the in-store solution. But if we're just looking at the online, so if we're just wanting to do things online, you're able to do that as well. So if we go over here, you can hit customize, set your price, set your parameters here. It's actually a wonderful piece of software. So what we'll do is we'll go over to the other store. So this is the online version of what I just showed you there, what's on the tablet. If I hit the AirPods Pro case, and we'll just do a quick test. So if I was to say, just do a little W, hit submit, probably make that a little bit smaller. I've already done one of these on the device. What I'll do is I'll just confirm the order. I'll switch it screen off just here. So contact Wayne at sendcd.com and 6.02. There we go. Confirm. There we go. So I just entered in my details there. You can see them here. I've only got the front customized. So if I click there, you can see, so the customer can see. So on this product, I've said front and back. Very, very simple. If I hit continue shopping, I'm going to go back here. This is the AirPods. I can go to orders. You can see here, I can go process. If I hit this button, it's going to download and import that directly into xTool Creative Studio. So if I hit that now, so I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to share my screen first. I'm going to share the Customthings screen. So if I just go home first, so I've gone home. And what I'm going to do now is click on that process. And it's opened it straight away into xTool Creative Studio. And you can see the design is actually up here in the corner. So there. That's what we just made. It's imported it and it's ready to use. It's got all the settings, 85% power, 2400 speed, 1 pass, 500 lines per centimeter. So just by clicking that, I can also download it. So I can click on the order here, it'll give me more details. I can hit that process. That's what opens it up straight away into xTool Creative Studio. I can download it as an XCS file for offline use, or download the PNGs, and that's just this front and back. I don't know why you would want to download that, but you have that as an option. If you're wondering about parameters, I set the parameters here. So the engraving, I've said these are the settings for the F2 engraver, so I'll give it a relevant name so I'm able to find it. I've selected the model, so the normal standard UV. I've said engraving, power 70%, speed 2400 millimeters a second, 1 pass, frequency 40 hertz or kilohertz even, 40 centimeters. So I've not saved this, I've not updated this. So this come out as 500, I believe. I need to push the settings there, but those are the settings. As you can see, that it's popped up. And then in terms of the products, this is the product. I've selected what stores. So this is the online version used for multiple stores. Just pop that in. Yeah. And you can see here that the front and back, I've selected front and back customizable. Again, I've selected the device here. So if I was to select an F2, it wouldn't let me use F2 ultra parameters. So these need to marry up with what you selected for the parameters. I've uploaded images of the front and back. I've entered in the width and height of the product, entered in the engravable area. So 42, so 4.2 centimeters wide, 1.9 centimeters high, and that is on the front. And this is on the back, so it doesn't engrave the Apple stuff on the back. And then again, I've selected the parameters. So I've selected those engraving settings as the parameters, front and back. Use the same settings. You might have a material that is different on the back than on the front, and you're able to use completely different parameters. You might have, for example, slate coasters sometimes have like a felt backing instead of slate. If you're able to engrave on that felt, you can do completely different settings for the back face. So xTool have that option there. In terms of the X and Y, this is why it put the engraving in the top corner. So when we opened it, the engraving was in the top corner. We can change that by adjusting this. So I can go 100, 100. So 10, that puts it directly in the middle. The Z is the focus of the laser. So how thickness of the product. You can easily get these settings from xTool Creative Studio. And then you've got templates. So you can add a template, which I have done for cardstock, for example. So I've done pre-designed templates there. All the customer has to do is add a name to it to make it dummy proof. Text, so allow the customer to enter text. Upload image. You might not want them to upload an image. So let's just say you're engraving on wood. Images don't always come out the best if they're just normal images. You have to usually turn them into line drawings, for example. They come out better on wood. Doodle, so that's where they just draw something. So that's nice if you're trying to get a child to draw something. Perfect. And then these images here, so these are what will give some stock images for the user to be able to select from. And then this is what stores it's available on. And then publishes it. And it's literally that simple. xTool give us all the ability to easily pump out product. So all we have to concentrate on is engraving the product and shipping it out. They've taken us out of the situation, so we can get orders, and instead of us having to do all the work designing it, customers spent that time. All we have to do is load it up into xTool Creative Studio or run it from the tablet if you got the tablet and engrave it. If a name is wrong, that's on the customer. So it takes the onus off us and places it on the customer. And you might be saying, I already have an Etsy store, but you have to copy and paste all the information that they send you when they, you're doing a family tree with 10 names. You have to copy and paste the names manually. Now it's all done. The customer's already done it. You could have varying templates of family tree. So you could have a family tree with 2 people, a family tree with 3 people, with 5 people, and all the customer can edit is the name. And it's taken all that work off you and placed it on the customer. All you have to do is place the material in the bed, the right material. The settings are already done. You could pay someone to do that for you. Employees don't have to have that much knowledge. So they still need some training. If you're engraving, say, wood, there might be variations in size and thickness. So they need to know that when they place a material under the bed, that the 2 dots are intersect with each other. So there's some knowledge will still need to be transferred to your employees, but it's literally that simple. So if we jump back over to xTool Creative Studio, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the bed there. I'm just going to switch over. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to put in there. So if I switch to my desk camera, so this is AirPods Pro 3, and my wife wants the image that we have of us 3 together on the back there. So I believe it's this image. My wife wants this image on the back here. So I'm going to do that now. So what I'll do is I'll just share my screen. And what I'm going to do is place the AirPods in the machine. I'm just going to make sure it's aligned properly. So there they are. What I'll do is I'll move this over. I have the settings already done. First thing I'll do is I'll take an updated picture. What I'll do is I'll just make that a little bit more. There we go. That's that. And what I can do there is frame it. If I hit frame, so there's varying options of frame. So if I make that bigger, hit frame. I can also do a rectangle version. So if I can change the different frames here. So typically square one is the one that you want. And if I do that, you have something like that. They both come in handy. I'm going to have to make that smaller because there is some text on the back. So what I'll do is I'll just move that closer. I'll stop framing. I'll take a new picture. I'll move that. Can't really see it, but there's some text there. And I think that's because I didn't have the guard down when I took the picture. So if I just have that guard down, if I turn off the lights on the far end and take another picture, might be able to see it better. No. Anyway, what I'll do is it's probably the same width as, I'll just make that 18 and I'll frame that out. I'll make that bigger. about it. So I'm happy with that. So what I'll do now is I'll hit process, and again the settings 180 as the dot duration, 75% power, 600 lines per inch or dots per inch. Hit process. The guard is down. It's going to take 14 seconds. So if I make that full screen, let me go over. Let me just see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to hit the start button now. And that's it. Done. So if I show you this underneath the desk camera, you should hopefully be able to see it better. So these are AirPod Pro 3, and I've added these settings onto the kiosk. So if you're wondering how I get the engravable area, I measured, this just starts to curve here. So I measured up here, and I measured, I think, 18. But this, yep, 18. But realistically, you're probably looking at 17 mil engraving area. I've given the option for 18. But you can, that's how you do it. You just measure the width and the height of what you want engraved. You do have to measure the overall height of the product and the overall width. The most important thing is to get it generally accurate, but what you do want accurate is the engravable area. Don't get stuck off that you measured it as 50 and 60 wide, and you can only get it 50 wide and 58 high or whatever. Don't get stuck on that. Just make sure you get the engravable area accurate. And then in terms of let's see if I can hook my phone up. I know I've gone a little bit over. But again, if I switch to my iPhone, a customer can scan a QR code and get to your store. They can easily select a product, scroll along the relevant options, and go, do you know what? I want a marble poster. I've set the areas that they can engrave. And let's just say I'm just doing this for my dad. It's his birthday, or I'm doing it for someone's birthday, or maybe you could go, do you know what? I don't want that. I want something different. I want a card. Father's Day is coming up. A blue card template. You've got birthdays, but you've also got Father's Day. You go, oh, do you know what? Dad, my name's Wayne. You've made it effortless for the customer to get it. Confirm design. Done. It's literally that simple. So I enter this information in. And then if I was to switch it over to Safari, so I'm going to enter this information in here now. .com. I'm just going to enter my email address in there. I've just entered that in. Now, if I go to orders, there, process. And this is ready to engrave on the F2. So these settings here are for the F2. There we go. It's got the right sizes. I shouldn't say the F2. It was right. It was for the Ultra UV. So I've set the F2, just the normal F2. So if I go back to here, hit process. Let's see if it connects. See if it knows. It does know. Yeah. So it opens up on the right laser. That's actually quite nice. So you can't accidentally use the wrong laser. But yeah, it's all done. All you have to do is place the material and engrave. And again, I'm using this software now for my business. It's honestly, it's so effortless. Rather than people text me names, can you do me a keychain? I want, mom, I want dad on there. You send them over a design. They go, oh, can you change this? Can you change that? Before you know, you've lost half an hour, and it's only a $8.99 keychain. I can now just send them the link and go customize the keychain. Let me know when you've placed the order. I mean, I know when an order's placed, but I can, you can just leave the onus on them. They can either take payment through that. In terms of payment, on the free plan, so there's varying degrees of plan, so that there is a cost to this. So there's a free plan. It's very limited, but it does help you get started. You get one store connection. You get to process 10 items a month. It's not a lot, but if you're able to make money off it, invest that money, and the first month is $1. After that, it's $29 a month. You can do 100 products. And there's the payment gateway. So 3.9% plus 30 cents. If you get the more expensive one, you get slight reduction in transaction costs. If you've got your own payment details, so I get people to pay me through my third-party payment processor, do that. They might be able to bank transfer you the money, whatever is easiest, however you currently do business. Maybe you're at a craft fair, do it in person with cash, but you're able to get an increase in limits as well in terms of how many items you can process. There is an enterprise version, which is what I showed you online here. This is the enterprise version, and you got multiple store management. You got control over every aspect of your store or the order process. If you want to find out more information about that, please reach out to me. Again, my contact details are on the left. If you're looking at purchasing the machine but not sure, again, please reach out. I can get you a higher level of discount than that's listed on the website. But more importantly, I can offer you a product demo or point you in the right direction. So let's just say you're looking for a demo of the P3 or the P2S, which I don't own. I can show you the software, but you want to physically see the product either online or in person. I can point you to the appropriate people if you're unsure. The xTool squad has a lot of great people. I'm in contact with them. They're fantastic guys and girls. They're normal people that are operating businesses, so they're trying to make money. The xTool squad, by demoing, they get a little bit of money for doing what they love best. So usually when I demo a product, I just demo something that an order that I'm placing. So I get more money. So let's just say I've got a batch order of 6 keychains, 6 different designs of keychain, 100 each. I can happily demo that to someone. So I'm earning money, and I'm earning even more money because I'm getting paid by xTool to demo what I'm doing with their machine. I can answer questions, and any of the xTool squad can answer questions on the machines they own. It's a great idea. The xTool squad is a fantastic idea. So you're not just getting salespeople. And that's not to say that the host will want you to buy a machine, because they preferably will. If you do buy a machine, the host will get a small commission. So it's just more income for the host, but more importantly, you get an honest opinion from a normal business. So it might be that you cut out acrylic, you do acrylic cake toppers. You might find a host that's what their niche is. and you can ask them questions, not just about the machine, but how it works in relation to their business. So you get honest opinions. And again, these products are what people have purchased. So I purchased, they're like this F2 that you can see here. I purchased this with my own money. The air purifier, again, the same thing. So you get honest opinion. And again, if you want to find more information about that, you can go to xTool's website. So it'll take you to the UK version, uk.xtool. And again, just go to local service, product demo, and you're able to search. So we have hosts far and wide. Ideally, find a host that is close to you and visit them. Seeing is believing. I get so many comments, so much good feedback when I demo this in person. So when I was at the NEC, a load of people have seen the xTool commercials, the advertisements. And the constant theme I was getting was it's, AI or it's a video editing. So when I engraved products in real time, it just blew them out the water that, you know what? You can do this type of stuff with this device. So again, please reach out. There is a new product being released. So before we go, there is a new product, and that is the xTool M2. So if you want to find out more about that, check out the website. Next week, depending on what goes on, I may or may not have something to show you in this regard. If I'm allowed, or if it's time, we will crack into it. If not, it'll have to wait another few weeks. I will be online next week. I'm not sure what time yet, but please reach out and have a great weekend. And again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know.